The torture document, which everyone is going crazy about, was released today, and it lists many, many instances of torture. We've got 16 of them here, which I'm going to rifle off for you. This is actually completely nuts. Put hummus in a detainee's rectum. Forced detainees to stand on broken feet. Threatened to sexually assault a detainee's mother. Khalid Sheikh Mohammed was waterboarded 183 times. Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and Abu Zubaydah nearly drowned to death during torture sessions.
Nearly,
that's the key word there. Zubaydah lost his left eye. They conducted sessions knowing they'd worsen detainees' injuries. Detainees were kept awake up to 180 hours over a week. That's crazy. Broke down a detainee until they deemed him a broken man. Probably killed at least one person. Again, this is all according to the Senate Intelligence Committee report. So these are the guys that know what's happening. Tortured people before asking them to cooperate. That seems backwards. Objected to the torture, but were ordered to continue by senior officials. At least 26 out of the 119 detainees were wrongfully held. They lied to the White House about torture effectiveness. Two more for you. They refused to vet participants in the torture program who admitted to sexual assault, and they refused to impose disciplinary sanctions an interrogator involved in a detainee's death.
And then we just picked 16. Among the other ones, junior officers in charge, people who were messed up, psychologically damaged, running this, not in any way trusted to senior interrogation officials, nobody with experience interrogating it, essentially the equivalent of what Bush did after we invaded Iraq, and guys, 31-year-old kids who'd raised money for the campaign sent to Iraq to help run the embassy there. Like, they turned it over to children. Like the most serious job in the world, and they couldn't turn it over to senior interrogators because senior interrogators got to be senior interrogators by interrogating the right way, and they wouldn't have tortured.
Right. So just to be very clear, in terms of how this actually started, this, of course, was all basically passed right after 9/11, and I know, Jimmy, this is one of your favorite phrases. They used enhanced interrogation.
Because it sounds nice, right? Oh, it's enhanced? You're going to put on some mood music and a little track lighting?
Yeah.
No, we're going to hook your balls up to a car battery and take turns stuffing stuff up your ass. Oh, I'll take the regular.
Exactly.
Don't make a fuss over me. I'll crack like a pretzel.
Yeah.
But the beautiful thing about this is all these people are going to be prosecuted to the full extent of the law, just like a guy selling loose cigarettes or jaywalking, right?
Yeah.
You see what he did there?
Apparently there's two different justice systems, right? There's one for nice white guys who torture people, steal their life savings, and choke people on public streets. And then there's another justice system for everybody else.
So what are we supposed to do with these people? That's part of what I've been thinking today.
You have so if you don't prosecute these people go, why not prosecute them? If you don't prosecute them, it guarantees it's going to happen again. Guaranteed. And it was amazing, right? Because they act like these are good Christians going down there to do this, right? We hate torturing. No, these are fucking sadists who love to torture people. And they were just waiting for the go-ahead from our number one Christian, George Bush. It's kind of ironic that he spends his whole life worshiping a guy nailed and hung on a cross. And so it took that guy to make us defend torture as moral.
So how far up do we have to go? If that's, are you on that line of thinking that we have to go after some of these people?
I have a friend who wrote the Bybee memo, and discussing, like, so how far up? Do you prosecute the guys who ordered, who wrote the memo, the Justice Department officials who wrote the memo? What is clearly unfair to me would be prosecuting, if you're going to prosecute people up the ladder, you have to go all the way up the ladder.
Of course.
You can't stop at the guys who did the torturing. Am I wrong? Do you disagree?
No, you are 100% correct.
That's real. Then it's unfair because we know now, especially according to the report, that this was clearly ordered and carefully. Obviously, what you do when you order stuff like this is you don't leave your fingerprints all over it. But we know where it came from. It came from Rumsfeld and Cheney, and I guess you could say it came from
Condoleezza Rice.
Yeah. Condoleezza Rice.
And
but
by the way, I think
those two guys, since she was more frozen out of that decision-making process, early on. She lost that fight with Rumsfeld for who had the presidency or who was dictating stuff. It was Cheney and Rumsfeld. We know that. I don't know how well you're going to get an investigation to stick, to get charges to stick. But you put somebody like Robert McCullough on it, you never know what you're going to get.
Well, the beauty is that I've read through the 600-page report, and at no point did the president order an intern to give him a blowjob. So that would be an impeachable offense.
That would be an impeachable offense. Also, you also see what the president could have done and didn't do, because here's one of the few cases, and Barack Obama does not, as everyone said, you open the door to this kind of behavior, you're not going to find a president to give up power. And regarding the suspension of habeas corpus and all sorts of stuff in the Patriot Act, Barack Obama's record is a sorry one, continuing what Bush did. He did stop the torture, which means literally all the president had to do was say, stop doing it. The president can do it, and he never did it. George Bush never did it. So in that sense, yeah, you could go all the way up. But we know we're not going to. We know that's not going to be the result of this. That's almost inconceivable.
So does the hammer drop on anyone, do you think? Because yes, I completely agree. You never go all the way up, because where does it stop? And of course, if it gets too close to
other countries go all the way up. It's only America, and that started with Dick Nixon. When we didn't prosecute him for his crimes, it's open season now for high officials to commit any kind of crime, breed any kind of unconstitutional shit they want. It breeds distrust for the law. It breeds disrespect for the law. It guarantees it will happen again. I mean, these guys are all criminals. They invaded a country. I mean, one thing after another. The stuff we know for sure that they did is worse than what the 9/11 truthers pretend that they did. The stuff that we know they did for sure is worse.